Council in India or in ISKCON, I will say like that. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji has written a couple of books. One of them is Shri Hari Suri Bhakti Rasayanam, Volume 1. Volume 2 is in progress. Other one is, he has also written Bhakti Thakur Mana. That is translation and commentary from Bengali. That's what Prabhuji did that. Beside that, he has also the e-magazine, which is Shri Krishna Kathamrita Bindu. He has 500 plus issues on that. And beside that, he has given Chaitanya Charitamrita, or I would say Shishkashtam lectures, 45 plus session on YouTube. You can go and watch. It's very detailed and it is very mesmerizing. Prabhuji has gone to different lokas, different gurus, with different places over there. It's very deep in that. Beside that, he has also started Udeshamrita with 47 sessions on that. I can say more and more, but I don't want to take more time. I just go straight to one of the verses which I was going through maybe 10 days back from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 4.24, where when Lord Vishnu arrives to give to Prithu Maharaj, so then over there they were saying, what you want? The only wish what he said that about is, I want the benedictions of the least 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouth of pure devotee. So there is one pure devotee. So give. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's all your time. I don't want to take this time on that. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the kind introduction. I am very grateful to each and every one of you for kindly being present here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for kindly being present here, dear devotees. Very grateful to each and every one of you. Wonderful center here, ISKCON of Brampton, and my sincere thanks to all the wonderful devotees who are part of the management of ISKCON of Brampton, Sri Radha Gopinath Prabhu, and who other devotees are there in the management? Nimai Nitai Prabhu. Okay. Krishna Karuna Prabhu. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for so nicely taking care of the congregation here at Brampton. Thank you, Munish Prabhu, for kindly organizing today's program. Thank you, Hadar Sundar Prabhu, for organizing the entire schedule. Very grateful to all of you. I'll begin by singing Jai Radha Madhav, and then we'll do Mangalacharan. Then I'll try to speak something on Bhakti and Vairāgya. Do we have Karta?
Yeah.
Jai Radha Madhav Kunja Vihari. 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 Jai Gopiya Vallabha Girivara Thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. Very grateful to each and every one of you for kindly being part of the audience. Today's topic is very special. You can see above. What is the topic? Bhakti and Vairāgya. And what is the meaning of Vairāgya, dear devotees? Renunciation, detachment is also known as Vairāgya. So, I'd like to speak on this topic. Before we begin, I'd like to offer Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Jnana-Tirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Smavitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे Thank you once again, devotees. I am very grateful that all of you are part of this wonderful audience here today. This topic of Bhakti and Vairāgya is very relevant and interesting because devotees can see the connection between Vairāgya and Bhakti very easily. That definitely Bhakti should lead to more and more Vairāgya or more and more detachment from material life. And that common understanding is present amongst all of us devotees, and today we will try to dive deeper into it and see what is the relationship between Bhakti and Vairāgya. But dear devotees, before we begin, I would like to start with a statement by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says something in the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 2:12. So, Ashok Krishna Prabhu has good words. He can kindly read what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 2:2.12.
When the conditions नहीं एक मिनट ત્યાંથી કરો ત્યાંથી તમારે વોલ્યુમ કરે
When the conditioned soul finds by culture of knowledge that material necessities are unwanted things, he becomes detached from such unwanted things. This stage of knowledge is called Vairāgya or detachment from unwanted things.
So when the conditioned soul finds by culture of knowledge that material necessities are unwanted things, he becomes detached from such unwanted things, and this stage of knowledge is called as Vairāgya or detachment from unwanted things. In this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing the fact that something has to come first, culture of knowledge has to come first, and that culture of knowledge will lead to Vairāgya. It's not that Vairāgya will come first and then it will lead to knowledge or Bhakti. The culture of knowledge should come first and that will automatically lead to Vairāgya. Today we will try to understand what is Vairāgya first, and then we will try to understand the connection with Bhakti. But in order to understand Vairāgya, what is Vairāgya, devotees? Detachment. First we have to understand the original term Vairāgya. But the term Vairāgya comes from the Sanskrit term, please repeat, raga. So first we will understand what is raga, then we will understand what is Vairāgya, and from Vairāgya we will understand what is Vairāgya. So first we will understand what is raga. Devotees, raga is the exact opposite of Vairāgya, and the Sanskrit term rag is formed using the dhatu, the verbal root ranj rage, which means to become attached or to become colored. The heart is usually not having any color of attachment, but on seeing something which we like, the heart becomes colored with attachment. This is from the Sanskrit dhatu, Sanskrit verbal root ranj, and using that verbal root ranja, we get the final term raga. And I have given the meaning of raga in the brackets. You can see what is the meaning of raga, dear devotees? Attachment. So raga means attachment. Raga also means deep color, coloring something or becoming attached. This is called as raga. This is the definition from the grammar point of view. Now we will also see the definition from the previous Acharya. Sri Jiva Goswami in the Bhakti Sandarbha defines what is raga. So here is Sri Jiva Goswami's definition of raga. Please repeat after me. Vishayina Swabhaviko Vishaya Samsargecha Atishayamaya Prema Raga. So he says Vishayina. Vishayina means for those who are common materialistic people. Swabhaviko, naturally they have Vishaya Samsarga Ichha Atishayamaya Prema. They have natural love for sense objects, natural attraction for sense objects. And the natural attraction for sense objects that normal people have in the world, that natural attraction and love is called as what, dear devotees? Raga. And then he gives an example, Yatha Chakshuradinam. For example, the eyes naturally become attached to Saundarya. What is Saundarya, dear devotees? Beauty. So sometimes what happens is we are walking on the street, and while walking on the street so many people pass us by and we don't pay any attention to them. But suddenly a very beautiful person passes by. So suddenly our eyes become fixed like a radar. It is like this, we follow. So this fixation of the eyes on the sense object, there is a Sanskrit term for it. What is the Sanskrit term, dear devotees? Raga. So this may happen with the eyes. This may also happen with the ears. So while listening to something, some particular sound, some particular music, somebody singing may attract us so much that our ears become fixed on that. That attachment is also known as raga. So it can also be fixed on a particular fragrance, on a particular touch, etc. So all of this is known as raga. Here is the translation, Prabhu. Kindly read the translation.
The natural deep attachment that a sense enjoyer has towards experiences of sense enjoyment is known as raga. Example, the eyes have such deep attachment towards gazing at beautiful objects.
So this is in the Bhakti Sandarbha. This is the definition of raga. Now, dear devotees, today do we have to understand raga or viraga? Viraga. So that definition was very nice, but now we have to understand the opposite. Raga is attachment, and please repeat. Vairāgya, ragasya abhava. Vairāgya means ragasya abhava, absence of raga, is called as what? Vairāgya. So dear devotees, sometimes in any particular object we have total absence of attachment. This is called as Vairāgya. Now sometimes people think that hatred is Vairāgya. Hatred is not Vairāgya. Absence of attachment is called as what? Vairāgya. For example, if let's take about food, most people have raga for wonderfully cooked paneer sabji. Isn't it? So we have raga for that. So, but if the sabji which is cooked is, let's say, karela ka sabji, so is it virag or is it dvesh? What is it? Dvesh. Because repulsion is the opposite of raga. Repulsion is the opposite of attachment. So in some things we develop dvesh. Dvesh is when we start hating something. So the opposite of rag is dvesh. But between rag and dvesh, there is the neutral position where we are neither attached to something nor do we hate something. We are just naturally detached from it. that condition is called as what, dear devotees? Vairagya. And Vairagya is the essential mood of Vairagya. Vairagya is the essential mood of this particular feeling of detachment. Is called Vairagya. Now I will tell you the difference between Vairagya and Vairagya. Let's say in one particular sense object we develop detachment. If we have developed detachment in one sense object, it is called as Vairagya. What is it known as? Vairagya. But if we have developed natural detachment in all sense objects of the world, then it is Vairagasya bhava. General feeling of Vairagya is present in all sense objects. Then it becomes known as what, dear devotees? Vairagya. So that's the difference. Vairagya is when the feeling of detachment is present in selective sense objects, and Vairagya is when feeling of detachment is present in all sense objects. That is the difference between Vairagya and Vairagya. So I hope that we are able to understand. Now, is hatred called as Vairagya? What is hatred known as, devotees? Dvesh. So we should know the difference between raga, dvesh and Vairagya. So raga, dvesh and Vairagya. This middle ground is called as Vairagya. So this we have to understand, because hatred is not actually Vairagya. Many times people say, I hate this thing, so I am detached from this. No, hatred is another form of attachment. It's often said that the opposite of love is not hatred. The opposite of love is indifference. Think about it, dear devotees. The opposite of love is not hatred. The opposite of love is indifference. Because truly speaking, love ceases to exist not when there is hatred. Love ceases to exist when there is indifference. So this, dear devotees, indifference is called as Vairagya, when it enters into all sense objects. Now when we defined raga, we defined from a previous Acharya, Sri Jiva Goswami. Similarly, when we will define Vairagya also, we will define from a previous Acharya, and Sri Adi Shankaracharya defines Vairagya very nicely in his Vivek Chudamani. Very nice definition of Vairagya. Please sing after me. Tad Vairagyam Jihasaya. Tad Vairagyam Jihasaya. Darshana Shravanadivi. Darshana Shravanadivi. Dehadi Brahma Paryante. Dehadi Brahma Paryante. Yanitye Bhoga Vastuni. Yanitye Bhoga Vastuni. Tad Vairagyam, that is known as Vairagya. Jihasa. Jihasa means in Hindi we will say त्यागने की इच्छा. What is jihasa in Hindi? त्यागने की इच्छा. The desire to give up through darshana, through the eyes, through shravana, through the ears, adi, through all the senses. The desire to give up sense enjoyment in all sense objects. Dehadi, beginning with one's own body. Brahma Paryante, all the way up to the position of Lord Brahma. To give up all desires for sense enjoyment beginning with one's body, all the way up to whose position, devotee? Lord Brahma. Anitya, Bhoga Vastuni, because understanding that they are non-permanent objects of Bhoga or enjoyment. Here is the translation. Please read the translation to
Vairagya is to give up all desires of experiencing impermanent objects of enjoyment in the universe through one's eyes, ears, etc. Beginning from one's own body all the way up to the position of Lord Brahma.
So, Vairagya has to begin from where it is one's own body. The desire of enjoying through one's own body all the way up to the position of Sri Brahma. So, this is the definition of Vairagya. Now, can you see, dear devotees, Vairagya is for one object or for all the objects? All the objects. And Virag is for selective objects. I hope you are able to understand. So previously we were seeing the difference between Virag and Vairagya. Virag is for selective objects, Vairagya is for all the sense objects. Dear devotees, This same Vairāgya has been defined very nicely also by Maharshi Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras. Maharshi Patanjali, 2500 years after he has left this planet, he is still ruling on planet Earth. 2500 years since he has gone. He is considered to be an incarnation of unattached. But today, in every nook and corner of the world, you will find a yoga studio. Wherever you find a yoga studio, wherever you find any Ashtanga yoga based therapy, clinic, etc., you should know that there is somebody still ruling over planet Earth. Who is that? Maharshi Patanjali. Devotee is very wonderful personality. He says in the Yoga Sutras, he defines what is Vairāgya. Now this definition, devotees, is one of the most thorough definitions of Vairāgya that we will see. This is his sutra. In the first chapter, Sutra 15 of Patanjali Muni's Yoga Sutra, please repeat after me. Drishtanu Shravika Vishaya Vidrashnasya Vashikara Samya Vairāgyam. Patanjali Muni says that some sense enjoyment is drishta. Some sense enjoyment is drishta. Drishta means we can see from our eyes. For example, devotees, when we go outside in the world, we see there are so many nice things to wear, so many nice things to eat. This is drishta. Can we see it through our eyes? Yes or no? Yes. So that is called as drishta. What is it known as? Drishta. And then there is some enjoyment which is anushravika. Anushravika means we have not seen it but we have heard about it. Drishta and anushravika. Some enjoyment we have heard about it. For example, Shastra says that there is something called as Swarga. Now, is Swarga Drishta or is Swarga Anushravika?
Anushravika.
This is called as Anushravika. So some enjoyment in this world is Drishta, you have directly seen. Some enjoyment in the world is Anushravika, you have heard about it. Both these types of enjoyments, Vishaya Vitrishnasya. He says for all these sense objects, Vitrishna, one who has lost all taste. And then he says Vashikar Sangya Vairāgya. And one who has reached the level of Vashikar. Which level devotees? Vashikar. Is called as Vairāgya. Now, slightly technical definition we may not be able to understand in the first step, but this is a wonderful definition. First we will read the translation. Please read the translation to me.
For a person who is devoid of desire for all sense objects that are drishta, seen, and anushravika, heard of, the stage of Vashikar is known as Vairāgya.
The stage of Vashikar is known as Vairāgya. Now, some sense objects are drishta. You can see by your eyes, hear by your ears. Some sense objects are anushravika. I'll give an example of the same. Let's say there is a person staying. Let's say there is a person who is staying in China, and that person has seen through his eyes many enjoyments of food, etc. Those enjoyments will be categorized in which state? Drishta. Now somebody tells him, oh, but in America there is much more enjoyment, and you can once you go there, you will feel, or you will find the American way of life is a very high standard of life. This is which enjoyment? Anushravika. So this is Anushravika. So everybody has some enjoyment which is drishta, some enjoyment which is Anushravika. So when there is Vitrishna means complete lack of desire for all such objects. And when it reaches one stage, which stage here devotees? Vashikar. That Vashikar is known as what? Vairāgya. So please dear devotees, please repeat after me. Vairāgya is Vashikar. This is the meaning. Now dear devotees, what is Vashikar? I will explain. The commentator Sri Vyasadeva explains what is Vashikar. He says that there are 4 levels through which every human being will pass sooner or later. Sooner or later in this life or in a future life, every human being will pass through 4 stages of Vairāgya. First stage devotee, please repeat. Yatamana. Yataman Vairagya is the first stage when a person who is enjoying in the world starts feeling that enjoyment is really leading to suffering in the world. Actually, there is no enjoyment in the world. Gradually, they try to detach themselves from all the enjoyment. They start detaching themselves, but they are unable to sometimes detach themselves from sense objects. They are trying this time. This first stage of Vairagya has a technical name. What is the technical name, devotees? Yatamana. Which means you are trying right now, but you are failing often. So this stage is called as Yatamana. Next stage, devotees, gradually realization increases and one comes to the second stage. Please repeat. Vyatireka. Vyatireka Vairagya, devotees, is when a person is able to give up one form of sense enjoyment completely, but is still attached to other forms of sense enjoyment. For example, a person may be able to give up his attachment to smoking cigarettes, but he may still be attached to heavy music. So devotees, this Vairagya is in which stage, devotees? Vyatireka. Some you have given up, some are still remaining. Further, then Vairagya proceeds to the third level. Please repeat. Ekendriya. Ekendriya is when you have physically given up all enjoyment, but the enjoyment is still staying in one place. In which place, devotees? Mind. Ekendriya. In mind, the enjoyment still remains. And finally, when even the enjoyment doesn't remain in the mind and you have fully conquered it, then you will reach this retreat. Vashikar. Vashikar is you. Even within the mind, the thought of enjoyment doesn't arise naturally. So this stage of Vairagya is called as what, devotees? Vashikar. So we can try to understand in our lives, do we have Vairagya on Yataman stage? Do we have Vairagya on Vyatireka stage? Do we have Vairagya on Ekendriya? Or do we have Vairagya on the stage of Vashikar? Now, many of us may be having Vairagya on the stage of Vyatireka. You know what is Vyatireka? What is Vyatireka, devotees? Some you have given up. Some there is yet to give up. So, most often devotees, they have given up. Naturally, they don't have any desires for some particular types of enjoyment. But sometimes they may have desire for some other types of enjoyment. Then that will fit into which category, devotees? Gradually, it has to come to the third one. What is the third one, devotees? Ekendriya. And from Ekendriya also it has to mature and come to which stage? Vashikar. Now let's go back and see the sutra again. What Patanjali Muni is saying. Devotees, Drishta Anushravika Vishaya Vidrishnasya Vashikar Sangya Vairagya. Can you please read it slowly, Prabhuji? Please read it slowly.
For a person who is devoid of desire for all sense objects.
For all sense objects. If it was not all sense objects, then it would be categorized as which Vairagya, devotees? Vyatireka. Okay, for all sense objects
that are Drishta, seen, and Anushravika, heard of, the stage of Vashikar is known as Vairagya.
Wonderful. So this, dear devotees, is actual Vairagya. Once again, these are the four stages, and Yataman, Vyatireka, Ekendriya, and Vashikar. Now our aim is to reach which particular stage, devotees? Vashikar. Without Vashikar, we should not call it Vairagya. Without Vashikar, we should not call it Vairagya. Without Vashikar, we can call it Virag. What can we call it? Virag. In general, I am detached towards certain objects. Virag. But when there is Vashikar, there is naturally no taste remaining in any material objects, then we will call it Vairagya. Because Vairagya means Vairagya on one stage only. And on which stage, devotees? Vashikar. Other Vairagya, other stages are not called as Vairagya. Other stages are called as what, devotees? Virag. So there is a difference between Virag and Vairagya. So wonderful, devotees. This is Vashikar Sangya. Now, how can we understand that how can we easily reach this particular platform? How many of us want to achieve Vashikar Sangya Vairāgya? Please raise your hands. Wonderful. So, dear devotees, the very first step is to understand that in the material world, everything is dukkha. Everything is suffering in the material. Even happiness in the material world is actually suffering. So, this realization is called as this realization starts introducing Vairāgya in the life. The devotees, in the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says this, and please repeat after me. Yehi samsparshja bhoga,
Yehi samsparshja bhoga,
dukkhayona evate,
dukkhayona evate,
adyantavantah kaunteya,
adyantavantah kaunteya,
nateshu ramate buddha,
nateshu ramate buddha.
Yehi samsparshja bhoga. What is the meaning of bhoga, dear devotees? Enjoyment. Sri Krishna says samsparshaja. Sparsha means we come in contact with enjoyment. There are many enjoyments which we come in contact with. For example, when we are walking, when we are driving on the street, there are many cars which pass by, and we are able to see those cars, but we are not attached to them. This is called as sparsha. What is it called as? Sparsha. We came in contact with them, but we had no specific attachment. But then there is one car which goes by, which we are really attracted to. Instead of sparsha, now it becomes what? Samsparsha. Now it becomes samsparsha. That's the difference between sparsha and samsparsha. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. So all bhoga, all enjoyment arises from sparsha or samsparsha, dear devotees? Samsparsha. It arises from samsparsha. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga, dukkhayonaya evate. From the very source of enjoyment, misery will arise. From the very source of enjoyment, what will arise? Misery will arise. Adi antavantah kaunteya. O son of Kunti, all enjoyments have a beginning and an end. Na teshu ramate buddha. Buddha, the intelligent person, does not take pleasure in them. Now, very easy to say, very difficult to implement. Here is the translation. Please read, Prabhu.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Dear devotees, it is very easy to say that the very sources of pleasure are the sources of misery. But it is very difficult to realize how the very sources of pleasure are the sources of misery. Dear devotees, I would like all of you to think in your mind of the choicest things of pleasure that you have in this world. Keep those sense enjoyments in your mind. Something which you like to eat, something which you like to see, something which you like to hear. Choicest sources of enjoyment that you have in life. Shri Krishna is saying from those very sources of enjoyment something is going to arise. What is going to arise? Dukkha. Misery is going to arise. Now, how many of us are convinced about this? And be honest. Be honest. If you are not convinced, then don't raise your hand. Because if you are convinced, then you will not be eager to enjoy. How many of us want to be convinced about this? Wonderful. I want to be convinced. So dear devotees, there is something which will easily convince us of this particular verse. That the very sources of happiness are actually the sources of misery. Now, dear devotees, we will try to understand how misery arises from the very source of happiness. And you can select your source of happiness, whatever source of happiness you have in the world. Select that source of happiness. And I will tell you how misery arises from there. and we will bring back Maharshi Patanjali. Maharshi Patanjali tells us how misery arises from the very source of happiness. Patanjali Muni says there will be three types of dukkha. How many types of dukkha, dear devotees? Three. Now these three types of dukkha, please note in your mind and please try to understand these. I will give examples of these three types of dukkha, so that it will be proven that the very sources of enjoyment are actually sources of what? Misery. First dukkha, Patanjali Muni says, please repeat after me. Parinama. First dukkha is called as Parinam dukkha. Parinam dukkha is the misery, the dukkha of transformation. What happens is something starts as happiness and it transforms into misery. This is called as which dukkha, dear devotees? Parinam dukkha. The first dukkha is called as Parinam dukkha. Something starts with happiness and transforms into misery. I will give a very simple example. For example, there is a boy and girl who are deeply in love with each other and they are very compatible with each other. Very, very compatible with each other. And they get married to each other. In the beginning, the marriage goes very well, dear devotees. Happiness or misery? What is it, dear devotees? Happiness. 2 years later, the boy loses all his hair and the girl gives birth to a child and loses all her beauty. Now, dear devotees, happiness has transformed into what? Parinam dukkha, dear devotees. Which dukkha is it, dear devotees? Parinam. The misery of transformation. This is the first dukkha that arises in the material world. Now, somebody may say, I will not be affected by this. I will go on enjoying happily, there will be no Parinam dukkha for me. Patanjali Muni says, there is second dukkha waiting there to this. Please repeat after me. Tapa dukkha. Tapa dukkha is the second type of misery in this world. This misery is called as tapa dukkha. What is tapa dukkha? Tapa dukkha is the misery which comes while you are enjoying. During the process of enjoyment, the misery which comes is called as which dukkha? Tapa dukkha. I will give a very simple example of this. For example, there is a person who is severely addicted to smoking cigarettes. Every day, he cannot remain without smoking one entire packet of cigarettes. Now, one particular day, he comes in the evening and he opens the drawer and sees that there is only one cigarette remaining for tomorrow. So, he has to buy something now from the gas station. What does he have to buy, dear devotees? Cigarettes. So, he says, okay, I'll take a shower and I'll go to the gas station and I'll buy an entire pack of cigarettes. So he takes a shower. By the time he comes out, there is announcement on the television that it is COVID-19, all shops are closed. Now for tomorrow, how many cigarettes are remaining? One. So tomorrow arrives. And then he takes that one cigarette and then he is smoking that one cigarette. Now, dear devotees, while smoking that one cigarette, is he experiencing happiness or distress? This dukkha is known as which dukkha, dear devotees? Tapa dukkha. Tapa dukkha is the misery which arises when you are enjoying and because of that, you feel that the enjoyment is about to end. This dukkha is known as which dukkha? I'll give another example of this. In India, most men go to a barber shop to cut their hair. Now, after you cut your hair in a barber shop, some of them give you a free head massage. A free head massage. Now, that free head massage is just an incentive so that you can pay him more and ask him for an actual head massage. But if you don't opt for it, you know that the head massage will end quickly in 2 minutes. So while he is giving you the head massage, are you enjoying or are you suffering? So dear devotees, this dukkha is known as which dukkha? So this
Same thing when your car wash is going on and you are finishing in 30 seconds. You want to wait
Yeah, you want to wait. Yeah.
so that you get your car washed.
Yeah.
But it's
So,
ending.
in every enjoyment, while you are enjoying, you start suffering. That the enjoyment is about to end. This dukkha is known as which dukkha? Kama. Another very good example I had one particular point of time. Dear devotees, I went to a Govinda's restaurant. I will not give the name which place. I went to a Govinda's restaurant, and it was in India, and it was unlimited buffet. Unlimited buffet. Eat as much as you want. Pay 1,000 rupees and eat as much as you want. So I paid 1,000 rupees. When I paid 1,000 rupees, then I started picking the things in the thali. After eating little bit, I realized that they have put baking soda in everything. You know what happens when you put baking soda in everything? You feel full very quickly. So after eating few things only, I am full. And my mind is thinking, 1,000 रुपया वसूल ही नहीं होता है. It's not. You spent 1,000 rupees, but you did not enjoy even 200 rupees. So when that is happening, my mind is saying, कि अरे मूर्ख, भोगते समय तो खुश रहे, है ना? At least be happy while you are enjoying. At least be happy in that. But no. This is known as which dukkha, dear devotees? Dukkha. Yes. Acha. Somebody may say, I will not even have tap dukkha. I will get unlimited enjoyment in this world, and I will escape the first two. Which two are there? Parinam. Patanjali Muni says the third is waiting for you. Please repeat after me. Samskara dukkha.
Samskara dukkha.
Now, what is samskara dukkha? Patanjali Muni says, let's say there is no obstacle to your enjoyment. You enjoy thoroughly, and there is absolutely nothing which stops your enjoyment. How many of us want such enjoyment in life? Please be honest with me. How many of us? There is neither parinam dukkha nor tap dukkha. Please raise your hands. How many want such enjoyment? Acha. Wonderful, dear devotees. Let's say there is a boy and girl who are very compatible to each other, very good looking, they fall in love with each other, and they get married to each other, and they turn out to be the best husband and wife ever. There is absolutely no quarrel, they live happily and wonderful life. How many of us would like to have such a life? Please raise your hands. If you are raising your hand, it means you don't have such a life. Recorded on camera over here. So, आपकी क्लास घर जाके हो गया.
परिणाम.
अच्छा. Imagine that they live like this for a full 100 years, and then the husband and wife die together while holding hands. ठीक है? So there is not even the dukkha of separation from each other even for a moment. Now, dear devotees, throughout their life, have they received happiness or distress? Happiness. Only happiness. Now, every happiness leaves a samskar on the heart. What does it leave? A samskar, an impression on the heart. कि अरे partner हो तो ऐसा हो. A partner should be like this. Husband should be like this. Wife should be like this. Now, with these positive impressions, they take another birth. Now, in another birth, are they going to get the same type of partner? So, dear devotees, their happiness in previous life is going to give them distress in their next life. This dukkha is called as which dukkha? Samskara. So, any trace of happiness that we are enjoying right now, it is generating a particular samskara. And that samskara is going to give dukkha later. This dukkha is called as which dukkha? Samskara dukkha. So, three types of dukkha. What are the three types? What is the first one, dear devotees? Parinam dukkha. What is the second one? Kama dukkha. What is the third one? Samskara dukkha. And all three can be explained with the help of pink coconut water. If you don't understand, I'll explain what is pink coconut water. When I came for the first time to Canada, there is one devotee who brought to me pink coconut water. How many of you have had pink coconut water? Very few. Na? Those of you who have not had, you are happy people. ठीक है ना? Ignorance is bliss. So, believe it or not, you can go home and search. In the market, there is something called as which coconut water? Pink. It comes from Thailand. And it is very sweet coconut water. It's available in bottles. They bring it in here in Canada and the US. So first time he gave me pink coconut water. I was not aware. I said it must be pink juice. So I drank and it was heavenly. I mean my mind boggled for some time. I said, what is this? So he said it is pink coconut water. It comes from Thailand. So I said, oh wonderful. So I thought when I went back to India, I said I should take back 2 bottles. So that I will, at least in India, I will enjoy pink coconut water. Is there anything wrong? Am I breaking the regulatory principles here? No. So, dear devotees, I took back 2 bottles of pink coconut water. Out of them, one of them got spoiled. Which dukha, dear devotees? Vairāgya dukha. It was, when I opened it and poured it and I drank it, it was bitter. Dear devotees, Vairāgya dukha. Now, out of 2 bottles, I am left with only how many bottles? You know what? I am in India. And I am pouring that 1 bottle and I am drinking dear devotees. Am I enjoying or am I suffering dear devotees? Which dukha is that? So next year I decided I will not make the same mistake. I will check the expiry of the bottles. And I took 10 bottles, dear devotees. So next year I got 10 bottles of pink coconut water in my bag. And then I took it to India. And those 10 bottles were very good. And so for almost 1 month, I had pink coconut water in India. Now after the last bottle ended, now there is which dukha devotees? Sanskar. In the final bottle there will be tap dukha. And after the final bottle ends there will be which dukha? Sanskar. No longer. So I went outside in India in Mumbai and I'm asking in the shopkeeper, do you have pink coconut water? Coconut water is not pink. Coconut water is there is no pink coconut water. I said no, there is pink coconut water. There is. He said there is no pink coconut water. Acha. Twice or thrice I went and asked him, can you order from somewhere? Can you order from somewhere? He said no, we don't have. So one more time I asked him, he said, ज़्यादा पूछो मत, कोई नॉर्मल पानी में होली का कलर मिला के बेच देगा. Like this, dear devotees. So these 3 dukhas are present. And they arise from the very source of enjoyment. I hope you are able to understand. They arise from the very source of enjoyment. Therefore, let's go back to the verse again. Yehi samsparshja bhoga.
Yehi samsparshja bhoga.
Dukkhayonaya evate.
Dukkhayonaya evate.
Adyantavantah kaunteya.
Adyantavantah kaunteya.
Adeshu ramate buddha.
Adeshu ramate buddha.
Now, are you convinced about this, dear devotees, that the sources of enjoyment are actually the birthplace of what? Misery. This is what it is. Now, how many of us are convinced that enjoyment is actually misery? Please raise your hands. Oh, wonderful, dear devotees. Those who are not convinced, till now, time is a very good teacher. It will convince you automatically, sooner or later, that this is going to happen. So, dear devotees, so much about Vairāgya, and we are practicing Bhakti Yoga. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna says one thing about Vairāgya for the Bhakti Yogi. And surprisingly, there is one thing which he says about Vairāgya for the Bhakti Yogi. Dear devotees, Shri Krishna says something about Vairāgya. Please sing after me. Tasman mad bhakti yuktasya.
Tasman mad bhakti yuktasya.
Yogino वै मदात्मनः
योगिनो वै मदात्मनः
न ज्ञानं न च वैराग्यं
न ज्ञानं न च वैराग्यं
प्रायः श्रेयो भवेदिह
प्रायः श्रेयो भवेदिह
तस्मान् मद भक्ति युक्तस्य therefore for a person who is mad bhakti yukta, for a person who is my devotee, yogino vai, who is practicing bhakti yoga, madatmana, my bhakti yoga, who considers me to be life and soul, na jnanam, such a person should not cultivate jnana. Jnana means knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Na cha vairagyam, such a person should also separately not cultivate what? Vairagya. Praya shreyo bhavet. It will not be very beneficial for such a person. Two things are not beneficial for the bhakti yogi. What are the two things which are not beneficial for the bhakti yogi? Jnana, Vairagya. Jnana is what, dear devotees? Knowledge. Knowledge of what? Engineering, mathematics, chemistry. Knowledge of impersonal Brahman is Jnana. And what is Vairagya, dear devotees? Detached knowledge, separate cultivation of detachment is not beneficial for the bhakti yogi. Now, we might have heard something different. Vairagya is beneficial for the bhakti yogi, but here Shri Krishna says Vairagya is not beneficial for the bhakti yogi. Now, the statement may surprise us, but here is a translation. Please read, Prabhu.
Therefore, for a devotee engaged in my loving service, with mind fixed on me, the cultivation of Gnana, knowledge and Vairagya, renunciation is generally not the means of achieving the highest perfection within this world.
Why is Vairagya not beneficial for bhakti? Why, dear devotees, is Vairagya not beneficial for bhakti? Because Sri Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vairagya is shushka. Shushka, what is the meaning of shushka? Anybody? Dry. Vairagya is very shushka, it is very dry. And because Vairagya is very shushka, it has the tendency of drying up the heart. And because it has the tendency of drying up the heart, therefore for a person who is practicing bhakti yoga, this is generally not the method of achieving perfection. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says something. Please sing after me. ज्ञान वैराग्ययोर भक्ति
ज्ञान वैराग्ययोर भक्ति
प्रवेशायोपयोगिता
प्रवेशायोपयोगिता
ईषत् प्रथममेवेति नांगत्वम् उचितं तयोः ज्ञान वैराग्ययोर भक्ति प्रवेशाय. What is the meaning of pravesh? For entering into bhakti, you need little vairagya. For entering into bhakti, you will need little vairagya. What little vairagya? Material world is not such a good place. There is misery in the material world. How many of us are convinced that the material world is not such a good place? Wonderful. Everybody is convinced? No? For entering into bhakti, you will need a little bit of vairagya. Once you have a little bit of vairagya, you can enter into bhakti, upayogita. Isha prathamam eveti. But na angatvam. Don't make vairagya as anga of bhakti. Don't make vairagya as anga, limb of bhakti. Separately, after entering bhakti, you are separately cultivating vairagya. Don't do that. So, please read the translation too.
A tiny bit of knowledge and renunciation are useful for entering into bhakti. That too in the very beginning. Therefore, it is not suitable to consider these as limbs of bhakti.
Why is it so? Commenting upon this, Sri Jiva Goswami says, Bhakti pravishtasya vairagyam chitta kathinya hetutaya heyatvena uttam. For a person who has entered into bhakti, over cultivation of vairagya or renunciation is rejected because it hardens the heart. This path of bhakti yoga is a path for those who are soft-hearted. It is not a path for those who are hard-hearted. But vairagya, too much vairagya has the tendency of hardening the heart. And once the heart is hardened, can one have a sweet, loving relationship with Sri Krishna? No. It is not possible. Therefore, dear devotees, it's very important to understand that vairagya should develop as a effect of bhakti yoga. Vairagya should not become the cause of bhakti. I hope you are able to understand. Vairagya should be the effect of bhakti. Vairagya should not be the cause of bhakti. I will give a very simple example. Let's say there is a girl who has not yet given birth to a child, but she has great desire that I want to have a child. Now she goes to a mother who has given birth to a child, and the mother tells her that see, it's not easy to take care of a child. Huh? The child will wake you up 3 times in the night, and then for the child you will have to prepare food so many times in the day. So, so you better prepare yourself. So that girl, right now has she given birth to a child? But she has been told that when you give birth to a child, you will have to wake up 3 times in the night. So what she does is she goes home and thinks, let me start practicing. So she starts waking up thrice in the night. Good practice or bad practice? But it will be helpful when the child comes. Yes or no? Why?
There is no child.
There is no child. So please try to understand, it's a very important thing. First the child will come, and naturally the waking up thrice in the night will happen. What is not correct is you first start waking up thrice in the night anticipating the child. What many of us may also be doing is, because we want Krishna Prem, therefore we are trying to artificially cultivate Vairagya. In fact, to the degree that Krishna Prem arises, to that degree Vairagya automatically arises. So this is something which we need to understand. Separate cultivation of Vairagya is not recommended by Sri Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sri Rupa Goswami again says, Yad ubhe chitta kaఠిన్య
Yad ubhe chitta kaఠిన్య
hetu braya satamade
hetu praya satamate
sukumara svabhaveyam
sukumara svabhaveyam
bhaktistadhetu ririta
bhaktistadhetu ririta.
Yad ubhe, both these things, jnana and vairagya, chitta kaఠिन्य, चित्त को कठिन बना दे. What is the meaning of कठिन? It is hard. चित्त काठिन्य हेतु, they are causes for making the heart very hard. प्रायः सताम मते, therefore in the opinion of the sadhus, they are not to be done separately. Sukumara svabhava iyam bhakti. Bhakti is sukumar svabhav, very gentle nature. Bhakti stad hetu ririta. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. Vairagya is not the cause of bhakti. Please read the translation too.
In the opinion of the great sages, the over cultivation of jnana and vairagya are both not recommended, since they harden the heart. Instead, Bhakti Devi, who is very soft and gentle in nature, is the cause of development of Bhakti herself.
In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami defines one Sanskrit term, and this Sanskrit term I will speak. Please repeat after me. Nirbandha.
Nirbandha.
Nirbandha is a very special term in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, he says. Nirbandha with Sambandhe devotees, Krishna Sambandhe. Now I will explain what is Nirbandha devotees. By understanding this term Nirbandha, one will understand how Bhakti and Vairagya works. I will give one simple example from material life so that it becomes easy to understand what is Nirbandha. Devotees, let's say there is a person who is extremely fat, extremely obese person, very obese person, and every day they are attached to eating unlimitedly as much as they want. Usually they are happy to finish one entire tub of ice cream in one day. Healthy person or unhealthy person? Unhealthy person. Many people make fun of this person. One fine day, it is that person's birthday, and people somebody brings a big cake for him, and that person is cutting the cake. And while cutting the cake, also on that very birthday of him, somebody makes fun of him and body shames him. So when he is eating the cake, somebody makes fun. Arey, here is 150 calories. Huh? So, and on that particular day, when somebody makes fun of him, that person becomes very angry. And that person that becomes very angry that people are repeatedly making fun of me again and again. He goes home and cries, and that night he goes to sleep. Next morning he wakes up and says, from this day onwards, either I will become slim or I will die. I hope you are able to understand. Either I will become slim or I will die. This determination has one name in Sanskrit. What is the name, dear devotees? Nirbandha. Now, the Nirbandha is in place. The Nirbandha has taken firm root in his heart. Now, when he walks out into the world, is he looking at food or is he looking at calories, dear devotees? Calories. Will you need to tell him to be detached from food or will he do it automatically? So what should come first? Should Nirbandha come first or should Vairāgya come first? Nirbandha. Vairāgya comes as a side effect of having Nirbandha. Similarly, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairāgya Uchyate. What is Yukta Vairāgya? That first you have the Nirbandha. Either I will achieve Bhagwan or I will die. That firm determination where it arises in the heart. What is the Sanskrit term for that firm determination? Nirbandha. Most individuals don't have the Nirbandha. And without having the Nirbandha, they are trying for Vairāgya. Is that Vairāgya going to help? No. It's just like many people go to the gym and they are told stop eating. And they stop eating for a few days. And after a few days, then they again fall back into their previous habits. Why do they fall back into the previous habits? Can anybody think about it? There is no Nirbandha. Because there is no Nirbandha, therefore, all that Vairāgya that is externally forced upon them, it does not persist. For Vairāgya to persist, there has to be that one factor. What factor has to be there? Nirbandha. That genuine desire, that burning desire, that this is the most important thing I want to do in my life. And everything else I will bend around this one thing. That Nirbandha is lacking. And because of that lack of Nirbandha, no matter how much they externally try for Vairāgya, it is not going to happen. So, dear devotees, this is the actual meaning of Vairāgya in Bhakti. In Bhakti, Vairāgya is not the cause. In Bhakti, Vairāgya is the effect. And that effect also arises when there is Nirbandha. That very strong determination that either this or nothing else. There is nothing else to do. That Nirbandha has to be present. If somebody is taking to Vairāgya, just as somebody is taking to Bhakti just as a side hobby. Here, Saturday, Sunday, I will be a devotee. Saturday, Sunday, I will dress up in fancy Indian clothes and go to the temple. And then that is how I am a devotee. So that means till this point of time, that Nirbandha has not really arisen. And therefore, this person cannot progress on the path. Because to progress on any path, any particular path, and go till the very end, you will need Nirbandha on that path. Without Nirbandha, when the Nirbandha goes missing or Nirbandha is not present, then you cannot progress on the path. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami specifies what is the Vairāgya that we need. Please hear the definition carefully. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjatah nirbandha krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate anasaktasya vishayan. ये आसक्त नहीं है, he is not attached to sense objects. This is the first characteristic of a bhakti yogi, that he is not attached to which objects? Sense objects. Is this a cause or is this the effect?
Effect.
Yatha arham upayunjatah. But he has not rejected sense objects. He will use them yatha arham, as much as needed for seva of Bhagavan. As much as needed for what? Seva of Bhagavan. Why? Because the most important thing is given in the third line. He has something. What does he have, dear devotees? Nirbandha. Someone there in relation to whom, dear devotees? Krishna. Yuktam Vairāgya muchyate. His Vairāgya is known as which Vairāgya? Yuktam Vairāgya. And I will give a very simple example. There is devotee one, first devotee, and he is thinking, I want to buy a car. Okay? I want to buy a car. Which car should I buy? So he looks at all the cars in the market, and instead of thinking which car will be most helpful for my seva, devotees, he thinks, which car do I like the most? Then he selects a Mercedes. कौन सा वाला है? अच्छा गाड़ी कौन सा है यहाँ पे? हाँ G-Wagon. अरे वाह, wonderful. अनिरुद्ध प्रभु. He selects a G-Wagon car. And then he says, अरे anyways I am using it in Krishna's service. So it is which Vairāgya? Yukta Vairāgya. That is not Yukta Vairāgya. Please, devotees, that is not. Yukta Vairāgya is not whatever I am attached to. I just put the arrow on Krishna. That is not Yukta Vairāgya. Yukta Vairāgya is Nirbandha. What is Yukta Vairāgya, devotees? Nirbandha. Yukta Vairāgya is to first have the determination that this is the only goal of my life. Now, let's say this is the only goal of life. Then, everything else I will bend around this. Then, will that person select a car according to his personal attachment, or will he select a car according to what is favorable for seva? Favorable for seva. I hope you are able to understand. So, anasaktasya vishayan is a side effect of the main quality. What is the main quality here? What is nirbandha? The main quality is given in the third line. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. So, anasaktasya vishayan, he becomes detached from sense objects because he has nirbandha. Yatha arham, even in another car. Now please tell me one regular car, one say. Corolla. ठीक है? ऐसे general car, हाँ? जनता की गाड़ी, ठीक है? ऐसा ना? So he selects a Corolla car, ठीक है? अभी इसमें there is nothing very special, हाँ? But it is very good for his seva. I hope you are able to understand. It is very good for his seva. It is very good for his seva. And even in that car, yatha arham upayujata. He is personally not attached. And he is using it as much as needed for seva. Now please tell me, is he having raga, or is he having dvesh, or is he having vairagya? What is that? I hope you are able to understand. Now, he is neither having raga nor having dvesh, but he is having what? Vairagya. But if he purchase G-Wagon, तभी क्या हो जाता है? Raga. Then can you call it Yukta Vairagya? No. Because often Yukta Vairagya is misunderstood. Purchase the best thing and according to your attachment and start using it for Krishna. Vairagya is Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. The definition of Vairagya is Nirbandha. Vairagya is Nirbandha. When that Nirbandha is there, automatically the side effects arise. Just a minute. That is called as which Vairagya, devotees? Yukta Vairagya. Kindly read the translation.
For a devotee who is completely unattached to sense objects and who accepts only as much as needed, their dedication related to Krishna is known as Yukta Vairagya.
What is Yukta Vairagya? Is detachment Yukta Vairagya, or is there dedication Yukta Vairagya? The dedication, the nirbandha related to Krishna becomes known as what? Yukta Vairagya. That is actual Vairagya that is needed for the devotees. Now, how many of us want to develop spontaneous Vairagya, dear devotees, as a side effect of Bhakti? Please raise your hands. Wonderful. Now, for developing spontaneous Vairagya as a side effect of Bhakti, we will need to have the most important condition amongst the three conditions. What is the most important condition? Nirbandha. That, as long as that doesn't arise, till that time we are artificially trying to, okay? Even before becoming a mother, we are waking up in the middle of the night. Is that advisable? No. Because there is, what is the use of practicing Vairāgya when the Nirbandha is not there? क्या करेंगे? Nirbandha is not there. What is the use of Vairāgya? No use. Absolutely no use. You are torturing your body and mind. और उससे क्या हो रहा है? You are scraping your heart gradually. I was scraping your heart and dry-hearted. Because of becoming dry-hearted, जो थोड़ा बहुत enthusiasm also is there in bhakti, that enthusiasm also is there. Because that enthusiasm goes away, then a person is not able to relish the path of bhakti. In the beginning I was so happy. In the beginning you were a sense enjoyer. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? Why were we happy in the beginning? Because in the beginning we were a sense enjoyer. And we did not have any unnatural concepts of Vairāgya in the mind. The path was also a path of enjoyment. Bhakti Yoga is also a path of dedicated happiness. But one thing was supposed to happen, Nirbandha was supposed to happen. That did not happen, and then we are trying to bring Vairāgya artificially. ऐसा है. वो क्या है? Somebody told कि a flower has petals and it has lot of fragrance. Somebody said, flower has petals and lot of fragrance. So I am collecting petals and I am sticking them on a stick and I am putting fragrance on it. ऐसा. Do you make a flower like that? No. How do you make a flower, devotees? It naturally grows. When the seed is there, when the plant is there, the flower is a side effect of the plant. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि you have to stick together petals, then spray perfume on it. ऐसा नहीं होगा flower. So trying to separately cultivate jnana and vairagya is like that attempt. But trying to have the seed, which is nirbandha, is the actual means of developing genuine vairagya. So I hope everybody understood what is said here. I will pause my speech here. Thank you very much, dear devotees. यदत्र स्खलितं किंचित् विद्वांसः पूरयन् तत् यदत्र सौष्ठवं किंचित् तद्गुरोरेव मेनहि यदत्र स्खलितं किंचित् if there is anything mistaken विद्वांसः you are learned devotees पूरयन्तु तत् please correct any mistakes but यदत्र सौष्ठवं किंचित् whatever was nice please remember तद्गुरोरेव it belongs to my gurujanas may nahi it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we have some time for Q&A. Anybody wants to ask? Yes. We'll take the mic and then we'll ask the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. It was really logical, sequential. My question is, suppose I have corolla, for example, and then someday corolla is not there and we have to use our wagon. So real nirbandha is like he will not shy away to use our wagon.
Sure. But if our wagon is purchased because of attachment, so what comes first? Nirbandha comes first or G wagon comes first? What comes first? Nirbandha. And if he will first check what our vehicles are available and which vehicle is most suitable for my seva. Okay? Then from that, even if it is the highest vehicle, the most expensive vehicle is the one which is most suitable for the seva, he will take that. But this time, will he be attached to that particular vehicle? Why? Because he has one thing. What does he have? Nirbandha. So first nirbandha should be in place. Everything else are the details. Yes, I agree. No, you can see, then we will go.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you.
So, what is Falgu Vairagya? I know you mentioned the four Vairagyas. I think it's the second category or the third?
Yeah, the Vairagya we need is called as Yukta Vairagya. You can see here. This is This is the definition of Yukta Vairagya. This is the Vairagya we need. Often there are individuals who practice Vairagya that we don't need. I knew somebody would ask this question, so I have a slide for that also. This is Falgu Vairagya. This is the definition of Falgu Vairagya. Please sing after me. Prapanchikataya buddhya Harisambandhi vastunah Mokshubhi parityago Vairagyam Falgu kathyate Phalgu Vairāgya. In Bihar, there is a river called as Phalgu. In Gaya, near Gaya in Bihar, there is one river. It is called as Phalgu. This is a subterranean river. What is the meaning of subterranean river?
Under the sand.
No, not frozen.
Under the
On
sand, below
top,
the sand.
it appears
Sand.
all the sand is on the top and water is underneath.
Under the sand.
ऐसा उल्टा river है. Usually in a river, water is at the top and sand is underneath. In this river, sand is on the top, and if you dig 1 or 2 feet, you will see water flowing. So this is called as a subterranean river. So Phalgu is one river in India which has this type of water flowing underneath. So what is why is Sri Rupa Goswami calling it Phalgu? On surface it looks very dry. I hope you are able to understand. On surface it looks very dry. Dig little deep and there is water inside. So ऐसा he has named this Vairāgya as which Vairāgya? Phalgu Vairāgya. He says prapanchikataya buddhya, thinking that this material world is useless place, सब material है, सब गलत है, सब माया है, everything is wrong. This is called prapanchik buddhi. Which buddhi we are devotees? Prapanchik. Hari sambandhi vastuna, even objects which are related to Krishna seva. Mumukshubhi parityag, he gives up. Starts rejecting. Why? Because he is mumukshu. What is he devotees? Mumukshu. Fatafat, I have to get out of the world. Fatafat, I have to go back to Godhead. Enjoyment is not here. Enjoyment is there. Let me finish this life soon. क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो कुछ enjoyment है ही नहीं, हाँ? Enjoyment is where? There. तो enjoy इधर नहीं करूँगा. Enjoy किधर करूँगा? So therefore, giving up enjoyments in the world so that he can enjoy in the spiritual world. The mindset has not changed. Mindset अभी भी same है. What is the mindset? Enjoyment. बस इतना है कि here the enjoyment is full of misery. Their enjoyment is not having misery. So better I should reject the material world and better I should go quickly there, mumukshu, and there I should enjoy. And for that reason, for the sake of delayed enjoyment, he gives up the material world. In his heart there is no nirbandha. The whole consideration is still about one's own enjoyment.
Raga.
I hope you remember the whole consideration is about one's own enjoyment. ऐसे व्यक्ति का वैराग्य is called as which वैराग्य? फल्गु वैराग्य. क्योंकि the nirbandha has not occurred. Nirbandha is first thing to have occurred is seva of Bhagwan. सेवा वृत्ति is not there. बस इतना है कि this world is useless, full of misery. So that world is full of happiness. तो चलो let's give up this world. That is my eternal Disneyland. वहाँ जाके I will become happy. वैसा person, his vairagya is called as which vairagya? Phalgu. क्योंकि ऊपर से बहुत dry दिखेगा. थोड़ा अंदर dig deeper. He also wants enjoyment, but enjoyment in the spiritual world. So there is enjoyment in the spiritual world, but that is not the main point of the spiritual world. The main point of spiritual world is enjoyment or seva. What is the main point? Seva. So love, prema, seva is the main point. वो main point छोड़कर he is after his own enjoyment. तो ऐसे का वैराग्य कौन सा वैराग्य हो जाएगा? Here is the translation. Prabhu, you have the mic. Please read the translation.
When a person who desires liberation gives up objects related to Hari, considering them to be materialistic hindrances to liberation, then such renunciation is known as Phalgu Vairāgya.
Make simple, I will give you one simple example of this. Let's say there is a person who has not yet selected an ashram, who is deciding whether should I become a brahmachari or should I become a grihastha. His natural tendency, his natural inclination is that it will be most suitable for him to become a grihastha. Most suitable. But लेकिन somebody came to him and said, if you become grihastha, you will fall into maya and this will happen. And the wife is maya and the house is maya. पहले you reject it. Now, this person unnaturally rejects something which he could have seen in relation to Hari. I hope you are able to understand which he could have seen in relation to Hari. Hari संबंधी वस्तु. अब he rejected. क्यों? मुमुक्षु. फटाफट where does he want to go? हाँ, back to God. उधर जाके शादी करेगा. इधर.
दोनों तरफ से
हाँ?
दोनों तरफ से जाएंगे.
हाँ. तो अभी क्या होगा? Now he is mumuksh, he wants to give up. अभी क्या है? He still doesn't have the one main factor. What is required in devotees? Nirbandha है नहीं. Just give up this and accept that. Nirbandha is lacking. So he starts 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Heart becomes dry. फिर आता है अशोक कृष्ण प्रभु बहुत साल से ना मजा नहीं आ रहा है. समझ में नहीं आया. अशोक कृष्ण प्रभु says, प्रभु जी शादी कर लो. नहीं. So till the end of his life he remains like this, dry-hearted. अच्छा, इधर ना तो he relished Krishna कथा, nor he understood Bhakti ras, nor he understood anything, और उधर पूरा dry-hearted. तो उसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं न माया मिली न राम. समझ ऐसा, ठीक है ना? So कुछ neither he got भगवान nor he got sense enjoyment. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है? Everything in the world can be seen as Hari Sambandhi. What can it be seen as? Hari Sambandhi. So somebody has nirbandha, बहुत strong determination that in this life I want to serve Krishna, or this is the main purpose of my life. But for most effective seva of Krishna, the ashram which I should naturally select is which ashram? Wonderful. So I will see that as something helpful to my bhakti. And then I will accept that ashram. Achha. Then because now he sees everything in relation to Sri Krishna, and he accepts only as much as he needs. Finances also only as much as I need. Okay, comfort level also only as much as I need. And with the family he decides on a financial level, comfort level, and starts his family. So that his family is also happy, he is also happy, and then he can progress on the path. This nirbandha will become known as which Vairāgya devotees? Yukta Vairāgya. ऐसा है, ठीक है? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि ब्रह्मचारी बनके you can't achieve, but you can also achieve by becoming a brahmachari if you have that natural tendency, ठीक है? But just a small example, ठीक है? Now we understand what is Falgu Vairāgya. Now Prabhuji had a question.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Prabhuji had a question. Let's give the mic to Prabhu.
At the start of the lecture, you were discussing Vairāgya versus Vairāgya, and you were asking us to repeat it, and I heard a lot of people say Vairāgya instead of Vairāgya were repeating. So what's the difference between the two terms?
The difference between Virag and Vairāgya. Okay. So I had explained that when there is detachment in one or two sense objects, but not in all the sense objects, it is called as Virag. But when that detachment becomes a general feeling in all the sense objects, then it becomes known as Vairāgya. So that is the difference between Virag. Virag is in selected sense objects. Vairāgya is in all sense objects. Now you tell me, Prabhu, for Vairāgya to occur, something has to be there in Bhakti. What has to be there in Bhakti? Oh, wonderful. Your name, Prabhuji? Uday. Uday, Prabhu. Wonderful. You understood. So what do you need to have on the path of Bhakti? No.
Determination.
Nirbandha. And Nirbandha will give rise to what? Remember the example of the fat person. What did he do first? Did he become determined or did he lose weight first? What happened first? So first he became determined. Then he lost weight. So first you will need that nirbandha, that strong determination. That nirbandha, when it is present, then automatically you will have vairagya. That is natural. I hope it made sense to you. Yes. Yes. Oh, Mataji is also here. Let's do. Sure. First you take that way.
Prabhu, while I was listening to the class today, just like how you mentioned that once we develop Bhakti, Vairagya comes as a byproduct, right? Once we have that nirbandha and we progress. Prabhu, that brings me to another parallel, which is like how we have been told that at least after a couple of years in Krishna consciousness, our focus should not really be anartha nivritti and should go towards artha pravritti. So Prabhu, but every time I've heard that, I've always wondered where does that switch occur? Like how would we? So at what point do you stop really focusing on the unearthing? I don't know if my question is coming across.
At what point in your spiritual life do you stop focusing on removing the negatives?
Yeah, focusing too much of our energy on that. Again, because the idea is, like you're saying very rightly, Prabhu, it leads to that dryness again, and somehow I felt like that path is also similar to what you're trying to say.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, have you seen that lecture of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where he speaks about anartha nivritti and artha pravritti? No. So, I will show you that particular lecture. Let's give the mic to Mataji. I will show you that lecture from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, where he speaks about anartha nivritti and artha pravritti, and I will try to see if it is possible to have that particular lecture.
I hope it's not so much of a sidetrack.
No, it's not a sidetrack. In around 1930s, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave a lecture in Radhakund. In Radhakund, he started speaking about anartha nivritti and artha pravritti. We have time to do. Yeah, okay. So, he started speaking directly about Ashtakaliya Lila, the eightfold pastimes of Radha Krishna. People were not expecting him to speak this, but he started speaking. It's given, his direct words are given here. Please read, Mataji, loudly and slowly.
Okay. The ability to hear Leela.
Eligibility.
The eligibility to hear Leela. All these days, we have not spoken about Ashtakaliya Leela, conjugal eightfold pastimes of Radha Krishna. But this is our most confidential asset. This is our only sadhya, perfection. One should not make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivritti, overcoming impediments such as lust, etc., is the prayojana, goal of bhakti.
One should not make the mistake of thinking that anartha nivritti is the prayojana, the goal of bhakti. Please read.
One thinking like this will never enter into artha pravritti, acquiring one's actual need. For this reason, I will now begin speaking about Ashtakaliya Leela.
Now, many people in the audience will not be ready for this, he knows. So he says, please read.
I know that you are not ready to hear it, but we should know that such a transcendental ideal exists within the realm of devotion.
Yeah, so don't keep yourself away from it forever. You should at least first theoretically know what is the ideal goal to be achieved. Please read it.
Beyond the realm of anartha nivritti is artha pravritti, pure conjugal service to Radha and Krishna. This is transcendental reality. If we do not know of this transcendental realm, then all our efforts may end in nirvisheshavada, impersonalism.
Yeah, very important statement. If we don't cultivate the positive, then all of our effort will end in not this, not this, not this, not this, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no. And neti is something which the nirvisheshwadi, impersonalist do. If everything is to be rejected, then what should be accepted? So that is what he is saying. Please read ahead.
Do not let your day pass in simply trying for anartha nivritti. Artha pravritti is also necessary. Anartha nivritti is necessary only until artha pravritti has started. When artha pravritti is present, anartha nivritti becomes unimportant and artha pravritti becomes prominent.
Now here is the answer to your question. Anartha nivritti is necessary only until artha pravritti has started. What is the meaning? When you come in contact with a sadhu who gives you a taste for artha pravritti, when you come in contact with a sadhu who tells you what artha pravritti looks like, what is the positive cultivation, and you get a taste for it, that is the time you begin artha pravritti, and put anartha nivritti in the back seat. Don't reject it, but put it in the back seat. Listen. But for that, you need to have that first taste from the sadhu. ऐसा है. क्या है ना? Till the time a lion's cub has not tasted blood, it doesn't know how to hunt. The first time it tastes blood, उसके बाद he will not stop. The first time a devotee tastes a small trace of bhakti ras, genuine taste of bhakti ras, उसके बाद, then after that, that devotee will keep looking for it. Artha pravritti has begun.
So it's something that a sadhu has to.
Of course.
So it's not something that again it becomes like a concoction probably if you were trying to think.
No, you can't do it by yourself because we don't have an idea of what bhakti ras.
What it is.
Yeah. What is the experience of bhakti ras? The first time when a sadhu will give the experience of bhakti ras, that is when that switch will flick in the other direction. From anartha nivritti to artha
So
pravritti.
that is when the switch happens,
Ah.
and thereafter the focus is no longer.
Yeah. And then there are some people who will permanently delay this artha pravritti. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gives a fixed time in which you have to do it. Final paragraph.
Oh, this is fine. He tells the final fact.
Huh?
Okay. Those who have chanted Harinam for 15 or 20 years should know such things. The beginners need not hear these topics or they will misunderstand. These topics are for certain audiences, not for all.
So those who have spent how many years? 15 years.
or 20
years. So 15 or 20 is an indication. For some people it may also happen in 10 or 12 years. I hope you are able to understand. But at least if you have spent 15 years, you should know all the advanced topics. Which means that the cultivation of advanced topics should start after the 10th year. So that by the time you are in the 15th year, you will know all the advanced topics.
At least we know.
Yeah. And then if we are fortunate to be blessed with the association of a sadhu who has actually given us a taste for bhakti ras, then anartha nivritti will take a back seat.
That's the thing, Prabhu. It will become like a side effect,
Side
like
effect of
what we were talking today, right?
Now I hope your question is
Yes, clear, Prabhu. Very clear.
This is from
amazing.
directly
Thank you so
from
much.
the mouth of the Lion Guru. So this is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Not many people talk about it.
Not many people talk, so I am talking.
But you also indicated that somebody will say.
Yeah, there is a reason why I am talking. The reason why I am talking is because it is not talked so often. So, because it is not talked so often, therefore there is a need to speak this. And of course, somebody needs to take a risk and speak, isn't it? Huh?
How will we get that?
How you will get that will only happen. How it will happen? Because see, there are many programs to bring new people on the path. I hope you are able to have many programs to bring new people on the path of bhakti. But there should also be programs for people who have spent 10 years or 15 years on the path to sustain them and help them progress on the path ahead. Because it's not that after 10 years the process ends and then you live happily with your 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles ever after. It's not like that. The process actually begins after 10 years. Actually speaking, the process begins after 10 years. People will understand. Those who get the association of a sadhu will know that the process begins after 10 years. The first 10 years. Eye-opener. Of course we need all of this. Of course we need this. But we should understand that without this, we will end up becoming nirvisheshwadi, dry-hearted people who are just rejecting things. And that is not Bhakti Yoga. That is just plain Vairāgya, disguised as Bhakti Yoga. So, you wanted to ask a query? Okay, sure.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. I have one question on the Nibbana Krishna. I think that is where I get stuck personally because their determination kind of falters at any stage of life. And even the example that you shared about the fat person. He had to go through a negative experience to feel liberated. And that happens in most of our cases, whether we are pursuing bhakti culturally, traditionally, through our family, or through gaining knowledge. But it's that one negative experience that changes your mindset. So how do you not pursue it like that, but be more positive in that direction?
So how do you develop that nirbandha in a positive manner instead of developing it like that in a negative manner? Actually speaking, there is one very nice purport in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, and this purport is also by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Can you see? Can you please read from here this till this highlighted portion? Please read.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has described the process by which one becomes an
Uttam Adhikari.
Uttam Adhikari.
It's the highest caliber of devotee.
If one is fortunate,
If, and that's a very big if. We cannot read it casually. Okay. If one is fortunate,
he gradually becomes disgusted with the limited vision and activities of the
Kanishta Adhikari.
Kanishta Adhikari.
The lower devotee, the new devotee is called as which Adhikari? He becomes disgusted with his own vision that I am not able to progress. Dissatisfaction with one's own level of progress becomes the source of disgust. That disgust propels one into doing something.
And learns to appreciate the expanded vision of the Madhyam Adhikari.
Then he becomes a Madhyam Adhikari, becomes on the intermediate level. And then he knows what is the actual way of progress.
Who is able to recognize that every living entity should become a devotee of Krishna, and that one achieves the perfection of life by following in the footsteps of an Uttam Adhikari devotee of the Lord.
Then he comes to know that it is only by following an Uttam Adhikari, only by coming in association with a sadhu, that progress is made. And that sadhu has to be Uttam Adhikari, of the highest caliber. And when such a sadhu is present, then easily from the Kanishta Adhikar one is elevated to Madhyam Adhikar. And gradually one also gradually becomes an Uttam Adhikari oneself. But without being disgusted with one's own limited level of advancement, because dissatisfaction is the primary source of progress. Anything in the world, people have progressed because of dissatisfaction. So similarly, in this field also, people will progress because of dissatisfaction with their own level of advancement. But if somebody is happy with their level, अभी तो अच्छा है, चलो ठीक है, अच्छा तो अच्छा, ठीक है, continue till the time you are disgusted with your level of advancement. Till that time, continue happily. Bhakti is for everybody, for the Kanishta Adhikari also, for the Madhyam Adhikari, and for the Uttam Adhikari. Nobody should be forced. Absolutely nobody should be forced. Everybody should be encouraged. Okay? Wonderful. Okay. Then we'll come to you.
So, Prabhu, Nirbandha, is it a byproduct of Artha Pravritti?
Nirbandha is gotten from a sadhu. You can't develop like this. You see a sadhu who is relishing bhakti ras day in and day out, and then you feel, "Arey yaar, I should be like this. Aisa I want to be." And what the desire takes over you. I would say that desire takes over you. And on top of that, you also have a little taste of bhakti ras yourself. और फिर उसके बाद क्या होता है? Then what happens is what the Bhagavatam describes. Vihatum ichchenna rasa graho jana. Translation, please read it, only this one.
Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again.
Who remembers? अरे वो जो that experience होता है भक्ति रस का experience, I want that. तो उसके लिए he hunts and he keeps hunting for that. तब जाके धीरे धीरे वो निर्बंध becomes solidified. So when that nirbandha is solidified, then he gives up everything else for the sake of pursuing that. There comes a time when it becomes a full-time activity. This is what I want. It takes थोड़ा time, थोड़ा maturity, थोड़ा time it takes. This is the main thing I want to do in my life now. बाकी सब side में, this is my main goal of life. तब जाके you know this person now has nirbandha. ठीक है, ऐसा. मतलब थोड़ा आम पकने को समय लगेगा. ठीक है, we go to Mansi. You also wanted to ask?
No, I got my answer.
You got your answer.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. So Prabhu, 2 questions. You said to enter into Bhakti we need some Vairāgya. So what is that some Vairāgya? Is it the virag or it's different than virag?
Some general feeling of detachment towards the world. That the world is not a good place. There is some splinter in every enjoyment. I hope you are able to understand.
Which is the first category of Vairāgya, that 3 we talked about.
First category, Yataman, you are trying for it, but you are not successful. But that splinter is in your mind. If I enjoy, it is going to lead to what?
Distress.
Misery, distress. So a splinter is there in the mind. But still you are unable to give up. So instead of trying for Vairāgya, you now try for Bhakti. Bhakti में क्या होता है? You develop nirbandha. When you develop nirbandha in association with the sadhu, automatically you are able to give up the other things. I hope that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure.
So, and the other one is, Prabhu, you said nirbandha, it comes from the association of a sadhu. So is that a causeless mercy of a sadhu, or is there any prerequisite, like one has to be in one of the 9 stages of bhakti, like nishtha or asakti, or is this a causeless mercy?
It is that nirbandha occurs by an inexplicable kripa or mercy of Shri Bhagavan. It occurs within the heart of some fortunate person. There are 100 people who may associate with a sadhu. But out of 100 people, only 2 or 3 may be able to grasp the point. What is the main point that the sadhu is trying to say? I'll give you a very simple example that Dronacharya had 105 students. 100 Kauravas and 5 Pandavas. उसमें से he gave a target of the bird to all 105. उसमें से only one was able to have the nirbandha. And he asked everybody, what do you see? So only Arjun replied the correct. What did Arjun reply? You know? I see the eye. That is nirbandha. तो पूरे भक्ति process में there are so many things that you can settle for. I'll tell you what all things you can settle for. Devotional service is so nice. Every Sunday people gather in good clothes and there is free prasad. This is also good. I hope you are able to understand. I can do this for my entire life. And I happily, and Krishna will take me back to orbit, and my eternal path to Disneyland is ready for me. This is also one sort of determination. Another sort of determination is थोड़ा थोड़ा करने का, ज़्यादा सीरियसली नहीं लेने का. ज़्यादा सीरियस तो पागल हो जाएगा. पागल नहीं होना कैसे? ठीक है? That is also one level. But one level is या तो कृष्ण प्रेम नहीं तो कुछ नहीं. The eye of the world. Now, after associating with the sadhu, very few people are able to see the eye of the bird. Those who are able to see the eye of the bird, they will be able to target it. क्योंकि निर्बंध है ना. I hope you remember when Arjun saw the eye of the bird. You know what Arjun had to do in order to see the eye of the bird?
See the water stops reflection.
He had to stop seeing everything else. समझ रहे? आजू बाजू का सब automatically went away. So similarly, when you have nirbandha, आजू बाजू का सब will automatically go away. Vairāgya is a natural side effect of nirbandha. So that is needed.
So Prabhu, that is when you receive nirbandha. But what can we do to prepare ourselves for nirbandha? Is the question. Sorry.
All we can do is we can pray for the association of the sadhu to Bhagavan. We can try to be sincere on the path. We can try to follow general sadachar. General sadachar is whatever sadachar in bhakti, follow Ekadashi, follow your japa nicely. General sadachar should be followed. But intensely we should pray for that sadhu who will revolutionize our life and who will bring that nirbandha in the heart. कभी ना बहुत बुलबुल भक्ति रहते ना, बस ऐसे करना इसलिए हॉबी कर, एक जैसे स्टिचिंग एक हॉबी हो गया, कुकिंग एक हॉबी हो गया, वैसे भक्ति भी क्या हो गया, एक हॉबी हो गया, हाँ पैशन हो गया, हाँ वैसा हॉबी भक्ति कर रहे हैं, not like that. Bhakti has to become nirvana, it has to occupy that central place in life. तब जाके there is meaning to performing bhakti, नहीं तो वो हॉबी हो जाएगा. भगवान बोलता है अच्छा हॉबी है तो मैं भी हॉबी की तरह करेगा. भगवान also reciprocating similar manner with such people. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते सदैव भजामि. भगवान I have little interest in you. भगवान I also have little interest in you. Yes, sir. भगवान you are the only goal of my life. Oh wonderful dear devotee, you are very dear to me. ठीक है ना, ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां सदैव भजामि. ये तो गीता में भगवान ने कहा, ठीक है.
Thank you. And I also want to thank you for always talking about boiling the milk, because as Prabhu said, not many people talk about it. So thank you for that.
There is an English phrase, fools rushing where angels fear to tread. Okay? I am the fool.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, that Nirvande Krishna Sambandhe, I was thinking, shouldn't it be Nirvande Krishna Prem?
कृष्ण के संबंध में determination. I will do everything for this person. I will do everything that is needed to attain this person. That is called as nirbandha. एक सिंपल बात बताता हूँ, very simple thing. एकदम material world का एकदम gross example जो बोलते हैं, इसको gross example जैसे बताता हूँ. Sometimes we might have seen there is a boy who falls in love with a girl so happily. So बोलते हैं रात की नींद उड़ गई ऐसा. एकदम रात की नींद उड़ गई, कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है, खाना पीना बंद हो गया. If I did not see her today I will not eat. सोचो कैसा वैराग्य है. पहले वैराग्य हुआ तो पहले निर्बंध हुआ. So that nirbandha happens first, and vairagya happens naturally even in the material world. When people fall in love with somebody, you see the characteristics of that vairagya. What to speak of in relationship with Shri Krishna. So I said Krishna Sambandhe, you have to, who should be the center of attraction? बोलिए कृष्ण के संबंध में निबंध. That when that personality is fixed in the mind, this person I have to attain somehow or other I must attain this person, चाहे कुछ भी करना पड़े. For that, if I have to become the most learned person on the planet, I will do that. है कि नहीं?
Prabhu, Nirbandha, what is the translation? Translation. Yes.
Okay, I will show you Sanskrit dictionary. So there is. This is Apte Kosh. Those who cannot see, I will turn on magnifier. Can you see this? What is nirbandha?
Yes, sir.
What is?
Insisting upon, persistence, intentness, pertinacity.
ये निrbandha है.
So insisting upon the Krishna Sambandha.
मतलब अभी तो कैसे वो ना इंग्लिश में बोले थे, obsession, ये बात, obsession ये उसको निर्माण है. I don't know how to accurately translate, तो मैं example देके बता दिया, ठीक है? वो fat person का example remember. या तो मैं पतला होऊंगा, नहीं तो मर जाऊंगा. इसको निर्माण कहते हैं, है कि नहीं? हाँ, ठीक है, वो उसको निर्माण कहते हैं. अभी I can't explain in better words.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, आपको प्रणाम. मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगी. मैं निबंध के बारे में कहना चाहती हूँ. बहुत साल पहले, 25 साल तो हो गए होंगे, जब डाउनटाउन टोरंटो में केवल एक मंदिर था, तो वहाँ पर भगवान का अभिषेक हो रहा था. तो सब लोग कर रहे थे, हमने सोचा हम भी जाएंगे, हम भी करेंगे. तो लेकिन जब हम वहाँ गए तो वहाँ जो पुजारी लोग अभिषेक कर रहे थे, उन्होंने मुझे साइड में कर दिया किया, कहा कि माता जी आप ब्राह्मण नहीं हैं इसलिए आप अभिषेक नहीं कर सकती हैं। तो हमको बहुत आश्चर्य हुआ कि जन्म से तो ब्राह्मण है, अब कौन सी ब्राह्मण बनना है। तो फिर हमने बाद में पता किया कि ये ब्राह्मण क्या होते हैं, हम तो हैं। उन्होंने बोला नहीं आपने भी ना तो दीक्षा ली है ना आपकी सेकेंड दीक्षा हुई है। उस समय बिल्कुल उसी समय हमने निश्चय किया कि अब हम जब तक ब्राह्मण नहीं हो जाएंगे तब तक जो है हम लगे रहेंगे। और उसके लिए मैंने सारे क्लासेस किए वहाँ पर, और जितनी बार जाना पड़ा एवरी संडे सैटरडे सारे क्लासेस अटेंड किए। और फिर हमको अपने गुरुजी मिले और फिर हमने एक ही लेक्चर सुना था उनका और हमने निश्चय कर लिया कि यही हमारे गुरुजी बनेंगे। और उसके बाद से हमने कभी भी कोई भी ऐसा मौका छोड़ा ही नहीं है कि हम अगर कोई सेवा का मौका मिले तो हम ना करें। तो हमने वाकई बहुत साल पहले दृढ़ निश्चय कर लिया था कि अभिषेक तो हमको करना ही करना है भगवान का।
इसी को क्या कहते हैं? वो एक नाम बोलने से एक रिजेक्शन की वजह से इसी में निर्बंध आ जाता है, तो होता है ऐसा। तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, बहुत अच्छा। जिद, हाँ जिद, हाँ। Wonderful.
Any more questions? We have just few minutes. It's already close to 9 because we have.
It's not a question but a comment. So, the way you do question and answer sessions in YouTube, you should do it more because there are lots of questions which are in our mind, but we cannot ask them in this kind of setting, but then you got lots of minutes there. So, I would appreciate if you do lots of sessions, whether it is called Magic or at Nama's podcast, you should do it more. Thank you.
He is our Aldar Sundar Prabhu. He organizes the class. It's a point for him that maybe you can, those who are interested for only Q&A session, maybe we can tell him, or those of you who are interested can tell him that next time we can have only Q&A. In Sri Vaishnava tradition, there are two terms. One is called as Upanyasam, one is called as Kalakshepam. Upanyasam is public lecture, Kalakshepam is private discussion. तो जैसा कालक्षेपम जो है is sometimes more preferable, तो ऐसा कालक्षेप थोड़ा we can keep whenever if the devotees have that. I'll be very happy to be of seva in that regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I think we can continue more, but time doesn't permit that, so we don't really know that because you have Prabhuji is flying back tomorrow to States again.
Feedback.
I don't know how long you say that Prabhuji you can stay here for more. Because Prabhuji usually come for 5 to 7 days. So this time Prabhuji came here after 2 years. So we will request Prabhuji if you can say, please Haribol, that come more often for more days so that we can have more association of Prabhuji. Thank you everyone. We would like to see Prabhuji more association of yours. I don't have the words to say what should I pick from this. It's a big class to me. Still out of my reach. But I will try to draft it more. If you would like to have more question and answer as Prabhuji said, you can reach it to Prabhuji. I would also like to thank the management of ISKCON Brampton, Krishna Karna Prabhu. We have Nimayamita Prabhu here. And we have Haldar Prabhu here who organized this Toronto event. And we have Prabhuji, you can say that Prasadam is ready.
Prasadam is ready. The best, sweetest part of the program is here. The part that you were all waiting for eagerly. And the part which I kept you away from. Now Nirbandha. We can show our Nirbandha. But let's sing together. Lovely. Mahaprasade Govinde Naha Brahmani Vaishnave Swarva Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasumay Vadayate Sharira Vidyajal Javendriya Taheka Jive Vedesha Sadhe Karapate Jivati Yoga Suramani Rakhe Jagate